go, Steelers! Here we go! Here we go, Steelers! Here we go! Here we go, Steelers! Here we go! Welcome into the Steelers Talk Live Show. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. The one clapping over there is Mr. Jeffrey Cooperstein, our producer. Coop, how you doing today, my friend?
I am great. It's a Thursday. Steelers bye week kind of sucks. I wish we were playing this weekend because this team's playing so well right now. But we'll have to watch other games around the league this weekend.
Yeah, and there's some pretty big games around the league in terms of which teams are going to be buyers, which teams are going to be sellers at the deadline. So there could be some implications there, namely the Los Angeles Rams playing the Seattle Seahawks. If they lose, they're 3-5, might be more willing to trade Cooper Kupp. If they win, they have 3 straight wins, and they're 4-4 and in first place in their division. So I think that one is a big one. And then also tonight, the Jets and Texans, if the Jets lose, their season is pretty much over. I mean, it's over pretty much anyways. I think we all acknowledge. But if they lose tonight, it's over tonight, and I think it's more likely Mike Williams gets traded to the Steelers.
Did I see one of their receivers just went on IR?
Yeah, Alan Lazard went on IR today. So that maybe lowers the chances he gets traded a little bit, but honestly, like, their season's over. I just don't think, if they can get a draft pick for Mike Williams, they're gonna do it.
For sure.
Especially if they lose tonight.
Your mom is in the chat.
Mother, how we doing?
Patty.
Happy Halloween. Mom, you going out for Halloween this year with Nora, or is she a little too? I guess she's in high school, so I guess she's a little too old.
It sounds like your mom's gonna be in Texas here.
Yeah, she's gonna be visiting us next weekend.
Let's go.
Yeah, so really excited for that. Going to be going and having some good food and having some good times. Probably go to Hutchins, best barbecue in Dallas.
Fire.
Might go to Dakota's.
Oh, big weekend.
Big weekend.
I love it.
Big weekend coming up next weekend. So give some love to my mom down there in the comments section. Spam those patties. Also spam those Cassie. She's watching live as well. We are got a bunch of great stuff today. We already got a video out today earlier on some
before I even got here.
Before Coop even got to the office today, I knocked out a video breaking down the latest wide receiver trade rumors. So if you guys want to check out that video after today's live show, you guys can check that out if you haven't watched that already. But our segments today, first up, we're going to talk about why I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are a Super Bowl contender as we sit here today, and that's before they even make a trade for a receiver or an offensive tackle or anything like that. Then also, I want to talk about Broderick Jones, all right, and whether or not it is the right decision for the Steelers to replace him by trading for a player before the deadline to play right tackle. And I'm going to kind of go over his numbers and talk about some of the potential replacements that are out there for the Steelers to consider. And then we'll finish up today's show with our weekly Q&A. So if you guys have a Steelers question that you guys want to get on the show, you guys can put your question down there in the comment section with hashtag Steelers. So for example, you go down there in the live chat, put hashtag Steelers. Will the Steelers make a trade before the deadline? And I'll answer that question on the mailbag, all right? So if you guys want to make sure your question gets on the show, the only way to guarantee a question gets on the mailbag is if you super chat. So if you guys want to guarantee your spot on today's mailbag, you guys can send in any amount of super chat, $1, $2, $5, $10, whatever the case may be, whatever you guys want to send in along with your question, and we'll make sure your question gets on the mailbag. If you guys want to send in a donation via Venmo, Cashapp, or PayPal, we actually get to keep more of the proceeds. If you guys want to send in a donation, YouTube takes 30% of every single dollar you guys donate via Super Chat. And then if you donate on an Apple product, they take an additional 10%. So if you guys want us to keep more of your donation dollars, you guys can send in your donations, kind of like a tip or, a little bit of a donation to the channel to help us out in terms of, improving our graphics, improving our equipment, improving our office space, all this great stuff that we've been able to do. It's all thanks to your guys' generosity. So if you guys want to send in a donation for the work that we give you guys here to give you free Steelers content every single day, you guys can send that in at Jack-Sperry on Venmo, money sign Captain Jack 19 on Cash App, or at Captain Jack Rabbit on PayPal.
Cassie's mom said she got pictures of snow today in Minnesota.
Is that what Cassie said?
Yeah.
I think Minnesota's cold, so I guess maybe, yeah.
It was 87 degrees here yesterday.
Yeah, it's still pretty warm here. I'm in shorts and in a t-shirt, so it's definitely a different culture here for Halloween here in Texas than it is in Minnesota. We there was one year where we had a blizzard on Halloween.
I don't know anything about that. I mean,
you've lived in Texas
I
your
have.
entire life, so you don't even know anything about snow.
It snows like once or twice a year.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
It does not snow here.
Once or twice a year it snows.
Yeah, like there's snow that falls on the ground. That's not the same as it snowing outside. In Minnesota, snow is 4 inches minimum.
Yeah.
That would shut down this city for a month.
4 inches is a lot.
Yeah. Okay, Coop. All right, so
Sorry, Miss Patty.
So let's have a little shout out here for all of our Black Diamonds. Coop, we can just roll through the graphics here. These are the people that have put in at least $500 on a singular Steelers Talk stream. You get your very own Super Chat sticker, personalized just for you. F. Sperry in the chat still have to get to a couple of these stickers here, but we knocked out quite a few of them this past weekend. I'm going to try to get to a couple more of them here over the weekend. Here. So appreciate all of your guys' support, and a big shout out to all of the people a part of this community, because without you guys and the people that have really supported our show here over the last 2-3 years, we wouldn't be able to do what we do every day, which is give you guys free Steelers content. So thank you guys so much for all of your support. We got 139 people watching. Big Dog 412 said he had his son. He had a son that was born on Saturday. So Big Dog 412, congratulations to my man Big Dog 412, as Mr. Coop is going through all the graphics there. Make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon, and make sure you type me when you do so. It really does help out the video, Coop. It helps out the live stream when you guys click that thumbs up icon and like today's video. Apparently it was Sunday. Cassie's telling me that Big Dog 412 had his son on Sunday. Big Dog, let us know what his name is down there in the comments section. Let us know.
David Bauer says, Coop, who do the Steelers play next week? The Steelers play the Washington Commanders next week. Off this week, Washington Commanders next week.
It's going to be a really good test for the Steelers defense here, because, I mean, Jaden Daniels has just the ability to wreck any defense. So, I think the pass rush will be very, very important in that game. It's going to be a very interesting matchup for sure in Week 10.
The end of their last game was absolutely bonkers with the Hail Mary and everything. So
absolutely. Make sure you type those me's in the chat if you haven't already. We have to get to 50 likes before we get into our first segment today. We've got Titus Kitchen. We've got Vibing with the Dogs in here. We got Cassie in here. Got Kirk Crater. We got Ben. We got Mason. Got Big Dog 412. We've got, of course, my mother, Patty Gustafson. We've got Amanda Nixon. Got Christian Andujar. We got Funny Man Bjorn. We've got David Bowers in here. Got Robert Road. We've got Tom Klein asking, are we in Texas? Yeah, Chat Sports Studios is in Dallas, Texas.
We are in Dallas.
So that's actually where we do the show from. Christian Andujar says, very depressing year for the New York teams.
That ain't our problem.
I mean, that's not my problem at all. I mean, it's a little bit depressing. Those Yankees lost to the World Series, and then none of the New York football teams are any good this year.
I feel bad for my good friend Marshall Green, because every time the Giants lose, he's just like his puppy got kicked in the face every single time.
Kicked in the face, you say?
His puppy looks like it got kicked in the face every time the Giants lose, because he is just depressed.
Yeah, he takes the Giants' losses very hard. So
I don't blame him.
So our prayers go out to Marshall Green this afternoon. We got $2 Super Chat coming in from Vibin' with the Dogs. Says, hi, Jack, Coop, and Cassie. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. All right, before we get into our first segment here, guys, make sure you click that thumbs up icon, and make sure you give me a follow on X. During Thursday Night Football tonight, I'm actually going to be going over and making some clips and some cut-ups here of Russell Wilson's film from on Monday night. So
you going to be grinding late here tonight?
No, I'll go home and I'll do it and pause, and we'll we'll get that figured out. But if you guys want more content from me on Twitter, you can find me at Jack_Sperry, and then we have a brand new Steelers Talk Instagram account here that you guys can go follow as well for more short form content outside of this YouTube channel. You guys can find us at Steelers CS. So, Coop, our first segment today, I'm going to be telling you guys why I believe the Pittsburgh Steelers are a legit Super Bowl contender in the National Football League right now, and why I believe they are a top 5 team in this league today.
I hope you're right.
And then we'll get into Broderick Jones and whether or not the Steelers should replace him, and then what some potential options are before the NFL trade deadline. And then you guys get your questions in. I saw some people were already getting some questions.
Steelers.
Hashtag Steelers down there in the comments section. So keep getting those questions in. Get those super chats in. If you guys want to get up on screen, you guys can super chat, all that great stuff. But in the meantime here, I'm not going to make you guys wait any longer. Let's get into our first segment here, why the Pittsburgh Steelers are Super Bowl contenders. Welcome into Steelers Talk. I'm your host, Jack Sperry, and today I'm going to be telling you guys why I believe the Pittsburgh Steelers are legit Super Bowl contenders and a top 5 team in the National Football League as we sit here today with a 6-2 record heading into the bye week. If you guys are excited about this football team this year, let me know right now by clicking that thumbs up icon if you love the Pittsburgh Steelers to kick off today's show. Okay, let's get into my 5 reasons why I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are really built to play in January and win playoff games this year. The first reason is because they got championship-level coaching, all right? And I'm not just talking about the upgrade from going from Matt Canada last year to Arthur Smith this year. And, I don't think Arthur is necessarily the best offensive play caller in football, but he's certainly not the worst. And that is a huge upgrade, and we've seen that with the uptick in offensive production this year under Arthur Smith. But also, I think you can make an argument that head coach Mike Tomlin should be coach of the year in the National Football League. I mean, he went into an offseason this year with not a whole lot of great options at the quarterback position, right? He could have stuck with Kenny Pickett. He could have signed Mason Rudolph. He could have maybe tried to make a move for one of the quarterbacks in the draft, but you'd have to give up lots of draft capital to do that. Plus, rookie quarterbacks never win Super Bowls, especially right away on a team that's in a roster that's capable of winning now. But then also, they could have went into free agency and got a veteran, and that's what they ended up doing. They ended up going to get Russell Wilson, and they traded for Justin Fields, and it seems like that decision has really panned out. Not only did Justin Fields lead this team to a 4-2 start as the backup quarterback when Russell Wilson went down with that calf injury, but he also made the ballsy decision to go to Russell Wilson after that 4-2 start, and good thing he did because this team is scoring 10 points more per game with Russell Wilson than Justin Fields at this point. And then maybe even more impressive, both of the characters of the guys at the quarterback position, Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, are kumbayaing right now, and they're fighting for that number 1 quarterback job. It's just a testament to how Mike Tomlin can handle these personalities, can handle the locker room, and he has cultivated one of the most complete teams in the National Football League. It really is a masterclass in coaching, what we're seeing from Coach T, and I'm so glad that he is here as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So what say you guys? Let me know down there in the comments section. Is Mike Tomlin the coach of the year in the National Football League so far? Give me a yes or a no down there in the comments section to let me know what you guys have to say about Coach T. In just a second here, I'm going to be talking about our friends at Prize Picks. So for today's pinned comment, give me a yes or a no at the top of the comment section. And with that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Prize Picks, which is the best place to get real money sports action right on your phone. Join over 10 million users and sign up today. Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Prize Picks puts their members first, so with all withdrawals, and also all their withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. Also, Prize Picks now offers Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your account this sports season. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even need to win to receive that $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday, where each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. So you guys can take a look at my projection tonight for Thursday Night Football. We're going to take the more on C.J. Stroud passing yards, the more on Tank Dell receptions, and the more on Joe Mixon. I think the Texans are going to take care of the New York Jets tonight on TNF. Now, if you guys want to get on the action right now, you can download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's $50 instantly when you use code CLNS after playing your first $5 lineup on the Prize Picks app today. Prize Picks, run your game. Another reason why I think the Steelers are built for January is because they now have a veteran Super Bowl winning quarterback with a ton of playoff experience and even some Super Bowl experience. And the reason why this is important is not only did you need to upgrade the quarterback position from Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, and Mason Rudolph from a year ago, but in order to win in the playoffs, you need a guy that's capable of playing high caliber football and also somebody usually that has playoff experience. First-time playoff quarterbacks rarely have success in the postseason, all right? So even with a guy like Justin Fields, it just wouldn't have worked all that well. But you take a look at the jump in production this offense has had with Russell Wilson, that veteran presence in the huddle, all right? They got 31.5 points per game right now over the last two. That would be second in the National Football League. Same thing with yards per game at over 400 yards. Matt Canada didn't have a single 400-yard game, and over the last two games, the Steelers are averaging over 400 yards. Then on third down, they would be top 10 right now, converting 40.7% of their third down attempts. And then the big-time throw percentage and the turnover-worthy play percentage is really good right now, ranking in the top 15 in both and top 5 in turnover-worthy plays. But Jack, the Steelers haven't played anyone with Russell Wilson. How do we know that Russ is any good? Well, I mean, you can say that about the Jets and Giants offenses, in my opinion. I think we all agree that the Jets and Giants as overall football teams aren't that great, but their defenses are without question the best things about those respective football teams. You take a look at these numbers, the Steelers are putting up over 30 points per game and over 400 yards of offense against these defenses. And like, are they top 10 defenses? No, I wouldn't say that, but they're certainly far from terrible defenses. The Jets right now are giving up the second least yards per play in the National Football League right now. The Giants defense is one of the best situational defenses in the National Football League. It's their 7th in third down percentage and 5th in red zone percentage. And then when you look at the results, they're 12th in points per game, the Jets, and then 14th for the Giants. So I think that right now the Steelers team has gone up against legitimate NFL defenses and have absolutely killed them these past 2 weeks. And guys, Russell Wilson is only going to get better as the season goes on. And now the Steelers finally have a quarterback that can realistically lead this team to wins in the playoffs, all right? The moment's not going to be too big for him. He is somebody that is a perfect fit for this play-action-heavy offense led by the ground-and-pound run game. And then, of course, you got George Pickens to throw the ball over the top to, and plus Calvin Austin III. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention him. He's getting open all the time as well. Another thing that's worth mentioning here is that there's only 4 quarterbacks in the National Football League that are currently active that have won a Super Bowl. Russell Wilson is one of those quarterbacks. Now, it was quite a while ago, but remember, Russell Wilson, at the time that he was winning that Super Bowl, wasn't the best quarterback in the league. He was very much a game manager type. He allowed the defense to do its thing. Marshawn Lynch in the run game, and it was a defensive culture, and they asked him to throw the ball down the field from time to time and make clutch plays in the fourth quarter. That is the exact same setup here in Pittsburgh, and I think you'd be remiss to say the Pittsburgh Steelers couldn't do what that Seattle team did back there during the early 2010s. I think Russell Wilson could have a career renaissance here in Pittsburgh, and it already looks like he is doing that. Another thing why I think the Steelers are built for January, we mentioned the ground and pound run game. And, when we get to later in the season where, it's outdoor stadiums like Acrisure Stadium and in the AFC North and just a lot of teams in the AFC in general, it's a lot of snow on the ground. It's a lot of wind. It's a lot of cold conditions, all right? So usually the teams that can run the football effectively are the teams that can very reliably win in the postseason. And over the last 3 weeks here, the Pittsburgh Steelers have over 160 rush yards per game. That would be second in the National Football League if that number was for the entire season. Okay, and then also over the last 3 weeks, they have 4.89 yards per carry, which is also very, very efficient. And you look at the numbers if you would look at the numbers from before this 3-game stretch, it wasn't nearly what it was right now. And I think that the main engine here is Russell Wilson really doing a good job setting up the downfield passing game, which is kind of laying off a lot of the heavy boxes that you were seeing with Justin Fields at quarterback. And that has allowed Najee Harris to really show his true colors as a potential star running back in this league. And he's looking like the first rounder that this team drafted him to be Finally, because he's not playing a bunch of heavy boxes. And then when those heavy boxes do come, you do have a quarterback now that can finally take advantage of throwing the ball down the field and making these defenses honest here, which has really opened things up for Naj. And you see that here with over the last 3 games, he's averaging almost 6 yards per carry, has 2 scores, and over 100 yards per game. So Najee Harris is certainly somebody that can be the main engine of this ground and pound run game for the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. And if it can keep going here, I think that the Steelers are absolutely built to completely suffocate these opposing defenses once we get close to the playoffs and then into the playoffs once we eventually get there. So before we get into some other reasons why I think the Steelers are built for January and why they are a legitimate Super Bowl contender, we're going to be here all season breaking down everything that happens for the Pittsburgh Steelers here during this 2024 campaign, and we're going to give you guys that free content every single day right here on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe for daily Steelers videos on the Black and Gold, breaking news coverage. So the trade deadline is next week. If the Steelers trade for somebody, we're going to be going live with breaking news coverage, and it's all 100% free, guys. So join the over 65,000 people that have already clicked that subscribe button and join our family today. Now we shift over from the offense to the defense here, and a big reason why the Steelers could potentially win a Super Bowl this year, in my opinion, is because their defense is elite. All right, not only is it very good in terms of the top-end talent with guys like T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith, Cam Hayward, and the like, but also they've got some pretty darn good depth at all levels of the defense this year, at least in my opinion. You take a look at the team defensive stats to this point. They're very good situationally when it comes to the red zone. They're second right now in terms of red zone defense, and then they have the 3rd most takeaways in the league with 15 right now, and then it results in the 2nd best scoring defense in the National Football League. Every single game the Steelers have won this year, those are the 6 wins, they have held their opponent to under 20 points. And every time they've given up over 20 points, they've lost, but both of those games were with Justin Fields. And as we talked about, this offense is more than capable of scoring over 20 points when the defense eventually gives up those games. And you take a look here at the QB grades that the Steelers have given up this year in terms of the passing defense. They've never allowed a passing grade above a 70 to any of the quarterbacks that they have played this season. You're playing guys like Kirk Cousins, who's playing some pretty good football right now. You played guys like Justin Herbert, who is an all-world type of talent. You played a guy like Dak Prescott, a great processor, and you played a guy like Aaron Rodgers, who's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. So I don't want to hear anybody say the Steelers haven't played any good quarterbacks, and they are holding these guys to extremely low grades, to extremely low effectiveness this year. And then on the other phase there, the run defense, they're only allowing 4.0 yards per carry, which ranks 4th in the National Football League right now. And that's even after kind of a weaker performance against the Giants when Tyrone Tracy completely ran over this run defense, right? So I think that this run defense is certainly built to stop the run, and then they can also stop the pass. It's one of the more well-rounded, deep, and talented units in the National Football League, and it's going to be one of the main reasons why the Steelers are competitive once we get to January. Then the final reason why the Steelers are built for January is because they have the best special teams in the National Football League. There's no other way to put it right now. We have 4 straight games as we sit here today. All right, that is half of the games that the Steelers have played where they have made an impact play on special teams, whether that be a Calvin Austin III punt return for a touchdown, whether that means a blocked punt, whether that means a blocked kick or a blocked extra point. This Steelers special teams unit led by Danny Smith is the best in football right now. They play extremely disciplined. They have a great knack for making big plays in this phase of the game. And this is usually the forgotten phase when people talk about the game of football. But as we've seen with the Pittsburgh Steelers, the special teams unit can absolutely change the course of an NFL football game, and the Steelers' ability to be able to have that impact play about once a game could be absolutely massive in this team's pursuit of a 7th Lombardi trophy. So fill in the blank for me down there in the comments section. I let you guys know my reasonings why I think the Steelers are a top 5 team in the National Football League right now. Now you give me your answer. The Steelers are a top blank team in the National Football League as it stands here today. Can't wait to see how you're feeling about the black and gold at this point. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really do appreciate all of your guys' support. We got videos like this every single day on the channel for free. So if you love the Pittsburgh Steelers, you want content like this more often, make sure you click that subscribe button. And until next time, guys, here we go, Steelers. First segment in the books coming up. We got Broderick Jones replacements. We got over 200 people watching live. Let's try to get to 100 likes before we get into our next segment here, Coop.
That sounds good to me.
We've got Donald here. We got Sheldon. We got Zachary. We got David Bowers. We've got Pokemon Trainer Chris. We got Alex L. Tom Klein is here. LJ is here. Kevin Reed says we're top 10. Jared Smith says we're top 7.
By the way, I absolutely love Danny Smith.
Yeah, Danny Smith is my favorite, man. I can't wait for Hard Knocks to get here because he is going to be he is going to be the darling of this year's Hard Knocks season for sure.
I forgot that they were doing the Hard Knocks with the AFC North.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I want to see.
When does it start?
Like the first week of December.
Okay.
So we still got another month before we get to do Hard Knock review videos.
That'll be awesome.
That'll be fun. But I hope that they increase the timing of it because it's usually an hour-long show. I hope that they increase it to 2 hours. Because if you're going to cover 4 teams and you're going to do it right, like you can't have an hour-long show to cover 4 teams, in my opinion. Especially if they're all playing different opponents every week. That's just not feasible. Because you're going to be spending the entire show breaking down the games when people want to see practice. People want to see the meetings. People want to see, the behind-the-scenes stuff because they've already seen the games, right? So I think that, if HBO is going to do it right, they make it at least a 90-minute show, at least.
Yeah, 90 minutes is usually longer than they go, but you're right. If you're covering 4 teams, you almost have to have it at 90 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, they did 2 teams for training camp during COVID, which was the Rams and Chargers. Yeah. And I thought they didn't have enough time. Like, I felt like I wasn't really able to invest in either team. So I think it's an interesting idea. The singular team in seasons weren't doing very good for HBO, so I understand why they pivoted here. Are you seeing something, Coop? Why are you laughing over there?
Just go lick it, chit chat, please.
Okay.
You have to right now. I'm not even joking. I'll get some shout outs. Sperry has to go look at something real quick. We have some office stuff going on right now. David says, do you think Fields could play wide receiver or running back? No, he is a quarterback, David. And Alex L says he sent to Cashapp. Did you saw it?
What?
Did you see it?
There's somebody sent a Cashapp?
Yeah, Alex L did.
There it is. Okay, I'll send it to you right now.
I was just telling him to go look.
Here's Jeremy Chuggs. How you doing, Jeremy?
Steeler Jeremy.
Are we live right now?
Yeah,
we're live right now. Jeremy goes.
Come say what's up to the end.
Jeremy says, "You guys live right now?"
Here we go, Yinzers. Here we go. Ooh, ooh. Here we go, Yinzers. Here we go. Ooh, ooh.
All right,
go join Jeremy on Thursday Night Football.
Pull up Thursday Night Football. Texans Jets, a spooky watch party.
If you guys want to get your questions in for the mailbag here, you guys can use hashtag Steelers in the chat, or you guys can super chat to make sure you guys get on the show.
Did you send it to me?
What's that?
You send it to me?
I think I did.
I don't think you did.
Oh no! I sent it to Chit Chat.
Oh no!
Oh no! Okay, I'll send it to you here.
That's classic.
There you go.
Thank you.
So again, guys, get your questions in. Hashtag Steelers.
I can't get over that Jack meme. Alex L, we'll get you one moment.
Damien says, I've been saying I loved Russ being moved to starter. I supported it. If we can move Broderick out and get Kupp, DK, or Cortland Sutton, we can definitely go far. I don't think DK or Sutton are going to be moved.
I don't either.
They're on competing teams right now, so I highly doubt that'll happen. Cooper Kupp, if the Rams lose this weekend, I think becomes more likely. We'll see. Alex L comes in with a $3 Cash App. Appreciate you, Alex L.
Shout out,
He
Alex.
says, for supporting your show, let's go Steelers. Appreciate you, Alex. Thanks for supporting the channel. That's all great stuff right there, Al. And we just got another super chat here from, I think it was Canadian dollars, from LJ. LJ says, do they re-sign Najee, Russ, and Fields?
I think it's Russ or Fields.
Yeah, here's what I think will happen with the quarterback situation. If Russ plays well enough to earn a second contract, they're going to give him a second contract. And honestly, I think Russ takes a discount to stay here because Russ has made his money. Sierra is making her money, all right? What he wants is legacy. He wants another Super Bowl championship. Like, in his words, he wants to feel the chill of the trophy one more time.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to cost $40 million to re-sign him if he plays well. I think it might cost you 20 or 25, but, I don't think he's going to break the bank. With Fields, I think that if that happens, he's going to test the market to see if there's a team out there that would give him a shot to start. After a 4-2 start with Pittsburgh, I could certainly see another team giving him a chance, especially because the quarterback class is just not very good with the rookie class coming up. So if there's a team out there that would sign him, I think he would go there. If not, I think he'd be more than happy to come back for another season on another 1-year contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers as their backup.
Yeah, I could see that. Najee will be interesting because the Steelers did decline his 5th-year option.
Yeah, and, the Najee one will be interesting because if he keeps playing like this and he's getting 100 yards a game,
he's going to get paid.
You have to pay him, especially because, the Steelers' offense runs through the run game. So if he's your main offensive engine, running back is a relatively inexpensive position. You got to sign him. You just 100%. You just do. All right. So if Najee keeps playing like this, we'll see if he does. But these last 3 weeks, definitely encouraging. If he keeps playing like this, man, he's going to get paid, and so is Russ. But like I said, I think you're going to be able to get Russ for a relatively good price for a quarterback, at least in my opinion.
I hope so, man. I mean, I as long as Russ keeps playing like this, I'm fully happy with him being the QB of the future.
All right, man, let's get into these Broderick Jones replacements. Very interesting segment here. I think there's a lot of people that are fed up with Broderick Jones.
I'm one of them.
And Coop, you are one of them. But the only thing is that that particular position, if you have a couple good tackles,
don't trade them.
You're not trading them. So, finding options isn't exactly easy, but we did our best, and we'll let you guys know what the best options out there for the Pittsburgh Steelers are. So let's get it going right now. The top Broderick Jones replacements at the Pittsburgh Steelers' disposal. Welcome into Steelers Talk. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about Broderick Jones replacement options for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think it's well known that Broderick has really struggled at right tackle this year. But the thing is, it can be tough to find replacements at this particular position close to the deadline. So we'll be breaking down the best options available and whether or not the Steelers should actually pull this trigger on somebody they spent a first-round pick on just 2 seasons ago. But before we get into the content here, no matter what the Steelers decide to do, no matter what news they break here over the next week or so, I'm going to be covering it, and I'm going to be giving my instant reaction on my X account before I hop on YouTube here. So if you guys want my instant reaction to all the big reports and all the big news stories that come out on the Black and Gold, you guys can find me at Jack_Sperry. And then we also have a brand new IG account for the Steelers Talk channel here. So if you want more kind of short form, informative kind of shorts on Instagram, that's where we put all of our short form stuff. You guys can find us there at Steelers CS. Okay, now let's talk about Broderick Jones and why are we even having this discussion, right? Because if you would have told me at the end of the NFL draft this year that, after drafting literally 2 offensive tackles in the first round in a row, they would be having a discussion about replacing one of those offensive tackles in Broderick Jones, I'd be like, there's no way. I thought Broderick was going to come in here and really play well. It would be his second year. He would be more accustomed to playing at right tackle. But if anything, he has become worse, and he has become the biggest liability on not just the Steelers' offensive line, on the Steelers' offense in general. Okay, and if you think that's an exaggeration, let's take a look at his 2024 stats here. He's given up 21 pressures in 8 games, 7 sacks in 8 games, nearly giving up a sack per game. He has 6 penalties, many of which brought back huge plays for the Steelers offense this year. And then the grade of 46.6 is one of the worst in the National Football League. And speaking of those terrible grades, let's take a look at Broderick Jones's Pro Football Focus grades this year. And listen, PFF grades aren't everything, but, if you're grading this low, I mean, the film is definitely telling you something, okay? 46.6 overall grade. That's 73rd out of 76 eligible offensive tackles. The pass block grade, even worse, at 40.7. That's 68th out of 73. Then the run block grade is 60th out of 72 with a 55.4. That's really what he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be a mauling run blocker. A 55.4 run block grade just really isn't that. But Jack, he's a left tackle. He's playing out of position. If you just move him over, he's magically going to get better, and he's magically going to look like a first-round draft pick. Well, here's the thing, man. I just think that when you look at Broderick's film, okay, a lot of the issues that he has, okay, he's a one-hand puncher. He's a lunger. He has terrible balance and footwork. Those were the issues that he had at left tackle at Georgia when he was coming into the league. All right, and did the Steelers screw up his, development by trying to develop him on both sides instead of trying to really hone in his abilities on the left side? Absolutely. I think that the Steelers did Broderick Jones no favors in terms of his development. But if they move him over to left tackle this offseason or whatever the case may be, I just don't think that, the one-hand punching, the lunging, the terrible footwork and balance is magically going to be fixed because those things weren't fixed when he was playing left tackle at Georgia. So I think that these things are just ingrained into his game at this point, and I think at this point I'm starting to think he's just not a good player. Now, the thing that you have to keep in mind is that if you give up on Broderick Jones for this season, I think you're giving up on him in the long run because it does sound like the Steelers want Troy Fautano to be the long-term starting right tackle of this team. And if you're moving on from Broderick on the right side, I just don't think you can possibly go into the 2025 campaign with the plan to start Broderick Jones at left tackle and protect whoever's going to be quarterbacking this team's blind side when he's looked this bad to start his NFL career. So what say you guys? Let me know down there in the comment section. Should the Pittsburgh Steelers try to replace Broderick Jones at right tackle before the deadline? Simply give me a yes or no down there in the comment section for today's pinned comment. Give me a yes or a no. The pinned comment's going to be right at the top of the comment section. So whenever YouTube throws you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds, simply give me a yes or a no. So now I want to go over some kind of players that have been thrown out there on Steelers Twitter that as potential options that I just think are probably less likely at this point in time. We'll start here with Jack Conklin of the Browns. Conklin might actually be the best overall tackle that the Steelers that could be got at the trade deadline this year, but the Browns are not going to help out the Steelers. Plain and simply, they're not going to give Conklin to their number one division rival. It's just not going to happen, in my opinion. Then David Bakhtiari and Donovan Smith are a couple free agent options that have been thrown out there, but Bakhtiari and Smith have taken every single snap of their NFL careers on the left side, and the Steelers would be looking for a right tackle. And first of all, I think Bakhtiari, as old as he is, he's not even going to think about playing on the right side. And then Donovan Smith would be, I think, severely uncomfortable playing on that side after so many years playing on the left. So I just don't think these three options are ones that the Steelers are going to consider. And coming up here on Steelers Talk, the top Broderick Jones replacements. I got 5 names that could realistically be got before the NFL trade deadline this year that the Steelers could consider if they want to move off of Broderick Jones. But before we get into those, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. And guys, if you want to see more Steelers games this year at Acrisure Stadium, we've actually had a number of people that watch Steelers Talk reach out to me and say, hey, I use Game Time to get my tickets, and they were absolutely fantastic. Thank you for pointing them out to us. And guys, Game Time Picks is a brand new feature on the Game Time app that filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. It's super easy to use. All you do is you download the free Game Time app, find an event you want to go see, select the Game Time Picks button, and then it automatically filters every single ticket that they have in their database to find you the best tickets at the best prices with the best seats with the best deals for you and your family, and it saves you a bunch of time and money. What I love about using the Game Time app is you get the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event, all-in pricing so you don't get slapped with a crazy fee at checkout, and flash deals so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to the event. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off that first purchase. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. So before I start here, and before I rattle off some of these names, a lot of these names are swing tackles, and a lot of these guys are backups right now. Okay, and a thing that you have to keep in mind when it comes to potentially getting somebody at the deadline that is an offensive tackle is that teams with 2 good starting tackles usually aren't shopping them, even if they're selling at the deadline, because they're usually foundational pieces for a rebuild. Okay, so I just don't think that offensive tackle is necessarily the best thing to need at the trade deadline. So if some of these names are some names that maybe you don't recognize or you think stink, it's because it's probably right to think that way. Okay, now we start with number 5, and we start with somebody that was taken in the top 10 of the NFL draft just a few short springs ago, and that's Evan Neal. Coming out of Alabama, a lot of people thought this guy was bust-proof coming out of the Crimson Tide. He's still only 24 years old. He still has great measurables, long arms, big body. He's tall, all these different things. But he was taken 7th overall by the New York Giants in 2022. But right now, he is their swing tackle behind Josh Ezeudu and Jermaine Illuminor. All right, when Andrew Thomas got hurt in New York this year, a lot of people thought, you'll move Jermaine over to the left side and, you put Evan Neal on the right, or even you put Evan Neal at the left side. They went with Josh Ezeudu over him. All right, so that just tells you where Evan Neal is in his development. And, my thinking on this is I would really not like it if they ended up getting Evan Neal because he's so similar to Broderick Jones. His technique is so not good, especially on the right side, where if you get him, I think that he pretty much becomes redundant with Broderick Jones's skill set because they're both extremely physically talented, but they both lack the refinement that you need out of a starting capable right tackle in the National Football League. So for me, I'm passing on Evan Neal, but because there's so limited options, I had to put him in my top 5. Then we get to Larry Borom from the Chicago Bears. 22 starts in his NFL career in 4 years in the National Football League. This is his 4th year. And, he hasn't played at all this year. He's been their swing tackle, and the Bears have been pretty healthy at tackle. But he does have those 22 career starts, and he can play on both sides. He has a plethora of experience both at left and right tackle. He brings some pretty good size as well, 333 pounds. Now, you take a look at the career PFF grades. He doesn't have one for this year because he hasn't played. But last year was his worst grade at 48.0. He was not very good last year. Just ask Justin Fields. Then you go to the 2 years prior. He was okay, 64.7 in 2022, 61.4 in 2021. But if you are going to ask me if I have a high level of confidence in Larry Borom to come in here and be a legit starting right tackle for the Steelers, my answer would have to be no. Then another guy that I don't have a ton of confidence in, but was really highly touted coming out of UNI a couple of years ago, Trevor Penning, current starting right tackle for the New Orleans Saints. Now, the Saints season is over. They're probably going to be selling at the deadline. He has been their starting right tackle in New Orleans this year. He moved over from the left side this past offseason. So he can theoretically play both sides. He has experience playing on both sides of the formation. He's kind of a dickhead, and I know that Pat Meyer kind of likes that, where he's looking for a fight. All right, he's pushing people around. He plays with a really great motor, but he runs too hot at times, and it leads to holding penalties and unnecessary roughness penalties. And he's very undisciplined as a player. You take a look at his PFF grades. In 2022, he showed some promise with a 73.6 on film. I thought he looked a little bit more refined than what he showed at the Senior Bowl that year and in his final year at UNI. But then the last 2 years, he's been very inconsistent. A 53.6 grade at left tackle last year, followed by a 56.6 grade so far this year. Not exactly what you want to see in terms of the trajectory for his NFL career. Number 2 on my list, Kendall Lamb, the current swing tackle for the Miami Dolphins. He's been a swing tackle in this league actually for a very long time. Kendall Lamb is a pro. Okay, he's 32 years old, so he is getting a little bit older. He is Miami's current swing tackle, so if Miami is looking to maybe unload a tackle, which is very possible, I think you can get a pretty decent price for Kendall Lamb. Also, he does have experience playing on both sides in his NFL career. He's played a lot of left and right. So if the Steelers want to bring him in and play right, and if there's an injury and he has to go play left, he's got that flexibility to do that if they want. Take a look at his career Pro Football Focus grades here. He's actually had the highest grade of his career this season with the Miami Dolphins with a 78.0. And over the last 3 seasons with the Dolphins, he's actually been pretty solid, all right? So if you're looking for somebody that maybe isn't going to be like a legit starting capable guy in the future, but you're just looking for somebody that can hold up and be a Band-Aid for this season, Kendall Lamb is certainly somebody you can throw a conditional 7th-round draft pick to do just that. But the only guy that I think is gettable at the offensive tackle position that is a legit starter at the right tackle spot is Taylor Moton out of Carolina. All right, 30 years old, so he's getting a little bit up there in age. He does have a pretty steep contract is what I'd say, but there's a lot of guarantees. The Steelers would be on the hook for about $15 million next year if they ended up trading for him. But he's very solid at right tackle, and he has been for a very long time. There's a reason why he is highly compensated, and you take a look at his numbers throughout his career. This is actually a down year for him so far with a 69.8 PFF grade, but every other year he's floating right around 70s or even mid-70s. The highest he ever got was an 81.6 back during the COVID year in 2020, but he's extremely solid. If the Steelers are looking for somebody to come in and be their right tackle and he is a team captain for Carolina, by the way, so he's a great locker room guy. If you really want to go out and make a splash for a starting capable right tackle, not only for this season but in future seasons, Moton's going to be the guy that you're going to go out and get. Now, what would be the price tag? I would offer a 6th-round pick is what I would offer the Carolina Panthers. Now, is it possible the Panthers want even more than that? Maybe, but they just did a 5th and 6th-round pick swap for Deontay Johnson, okay? And Taylor Moton is older, plays a lower value position. I think that a 6th-round pick is probably pretty fair for a team in the Carolina Panthers that's trying to get younger. They're embracing a rebuild. I think that, with the 30-year-old Moton still on their roster, if they can get a decent draft pick for him and get another shot at the lottery board here, I think they're going to take it. So let me know down there in the comment section, would you accept this trade to land Taylor Moton, the offensive tackle, with the Pittsburgh Steelers and replace Broderick Jones for good? Type A for accept or type D for decline. I would certainly have to think about it if this offer was on the table. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. We got more videos just like this one, breaking down the latest news and rumors on the black and gold every single day. Make sure you click that subscribe button. Join our family. And until next time, here we go, Steelers. All right. 2 down, 1 to go. If you haven't gotten your questions in yet, get your questions in now.
Get that question in. I see my boy Kurt Crater in the chat. Shout out Robert Gray, Drin. Make sure you get your questions. We have plenty of room, so hashtag Steelers or Super Chat to get on the show.
Let's get on the show here, folks. Super Chat or hashtag Steelers. The only way to guarantee your spot on the show is the Super Chat. So just so you guys know,
if you had to put a percentage on the Steelers trading for a tackle, what would you say?
A likelihood?
Yeah. Not likely, right?
Not likely.
Yeah.
10%, 15%.
Would you say receiver's more likely?
Definitely more likely receiver, in my opinion. I think that they're still going to give Broderick a full season before they even think about replacing him. I certainly understand why people want to replace him. He's been a liability for this team. And, something that I keep hearing on Steelers Twitter and from Steelers coaches is that he's, quote-unquote, getting better. No, he's not.
No, he's not.
He's honestly getting worse. I mean,
they have to say that, though.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's what people, I think, are missing in this whole situation is that the Steelers coaches have to say that he's getting better because they're not just going to throw him under the bus. I'm going to take a look here at his PFF grades this season in terms of the game.
Ali the Reaper says decline and start Max Sharping.
No, Max Sharping is a guard mainly. He can play tackle in an emergency situation. He's not somebody that's going to come in and be a legit starting right tackle for you, at least in my opinion. I mean, maybe Max comes in and proves me wrong on that, but I don't trust Max Sharping. I don't. So let's see. By player, I'm going to look up Broderick Jones. I am going to list out Broderick's entire season in terms of the PFF grades he's gotten in every game, and you tell me if he's gotten better. Okay? PFF grade. So actually, the Giants game was his second best game. Okay? It was his second best PFF grade this season, Coop, with a 56.8 grade.
That was the second best grade?
Second best this season. Before that, he had 49.8 against the Jets, 49.3 against Las Vegas, 48 against Dallas, 66, which was his highest of the season against the Colts, 51.2 against the Chargers, a 34.4 against Denver, and then a 50.8 against the Falcons.
How is he that bad?
And then overall, for the entire season, he's sitting at 46.6, which is 73rd out of 76 offensive tackles in the league. So that is just not good.
Not good at all.
Now, Pro Football Focus grading isn't gospel, but I think for anybody that's watched the Steelers' offense this year and has seen how much pressure Broderick has been allowing, it's no surprise that he is grading that low. So do I think the Steelers end up replacing him? No, I would say more likely not than they do. But if they do, I would go out and try to get Taylor Moton. I think that, you get him for multiple seasons. He's a team captain type of personality that you're injecting into your locker room. I mean, because I'm just scared that Broderick Jones is going to make a critical mistake in a playoff game, and that's going to be the season. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I don't know.
No, I don't disagree with you at all.
Ali is asking why not Sharping? Because he's mostly an interior guy, Ali. Can he maybe play tackle? Is he versatile in that way? Yeah. But he hasn't played any significant snaps at tackle.
Has he even played a snap for the Steelers this year?
No.
I didn't think so.
So let me take a look at Max Sharping here, and let's break down his snaps by alignment. He has never taken a snap in his NFL career at right tackle. So
we'll pass on that.
I don't think that you're turning to Max Sharping to be your starting right tackle over a first-round pick. With all due respect to Max, he's played some at left tackle early on in his career with Houston. He was actually drafted as a tackle, but over the last 3 seasons, he's taken every single snap at right guard and then 12 at center. So that's kind of. Honestly, I don't even think Sharping's the backup tackle. I think Spencer Anderson is the backup right tackle right now.
And he's not any better than Broderick.
I mean, maybe he is. Maybe he is. I mean,
but the fact that it's even a question,
like it's not an impossibility here that the Steelers turn to Spencer Anderson at right tackle if Broderick doesn't get any better.
Get it together, Broderick.
Oh, so there's a Venmo here from Sam Pugh from I think a week ago that I think we might have missed it or something. It says big week, will Russ cook again? Will not. Oh, so Sam is sending me actually this L3 of some predictions. He said, will Russ cook again? Check. Will Najee hit 100 again? Check. Will a W wide receiver stand out, or does the search continue? I mean, Calvin Austin III definitely.
But the search also continues. So, so good stuff there, Sam. So let's get into the mailbag here. We got enough questions here? Oh, yeah.
Sounds good. Let's get into this mailbag right now. I appreciate all of your guys' support. And I love doing these segments because you guys get to tell me exactly what to talk about, and I get to answer those questions. So without further ado, let's get into the Steelers Talk live mailbag, which is coming at you guys right now. Welcome into to the Steelers Talk mailbag. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. Today I get to answer your questions on the black and gold, and I love having these conversations with you guys because it's that two-way conversation. You guys have questions, I can provide answers, and I just love giving you guys an opportunity to get on the show and kind of put your questions in front of the rest of Steelers Nation here. So if you want a chance to get your question on a future edition of Steelers Talk, make sure you guys use hashtag Steelers down there in the comments section, or make sure you subscribe to the channel and join us for our weekly live shows on Thursdays starting at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Really do appreciate your guys' support. And with that, I'll pause and open it up for questions. Starting with Six Rings says, Cam Sutton is coming back, so what does that mean for Beanie Bishop? We actually talked about this on a couple of shows, earlier this week, Six Rings. And the honest answer that I have for you is I don't know. I trust Mike Tomlin to decide who's better for the defense. Cam Sutton provides a little bit more size, a lot of experience. But then again, if you stick with Beanie Bishop Jr., he's provided some turnover upside. He's had 3 interceptions his last 2 games. The players in the locker room really pull for him and really like him. I think that his eyes in zone coverage have been really good over the last 2 games. And also, if you have Beanie in the slot, that allows Cam to kind of play like a dime backer role and also be very solid depth. So if Dante Jackson gets hurt, if Joey Porter Jr., God forbid, gets hurt, you can just put Cam Sutton in there, and he's been a former number 1 outside corner for the Pittsburgh Steelers in this defense, right? And he's also tried out free safety a little bit during training camp. So he provides a lot of versatility. I trust Mike Tomlin to make the right call here, but I do expect Cam Sutton to be involved in some way, shape, or form as we move forward. Then we got one from Pokemon trainer Chris. What's up, Chris? Says, hey, Jack, what do you think that about Cooper Kupp going into the Steelers? I think he would be perfect. Listen, man, I think he'd be great too. I mean, I think that he could provide a lot of versatility to this Steelers offense. Right now, the Steelers, what they can do is kind of throw the ball down the field, and, Calvin Austin can get open from time to time. But they don't really have, Calvin's a legit separator, but getting another guy like that can line up outside, in the slot, and even in the backfield can really open up this playbook for Arthur Smith, and he can have the license to be a bit more creative. He's also one of the best run-blocking wide receivers in football. I know for a fact the Steelers are interested in him. So I guess we'll see if the Rams can pull out a victory this week. If they don't and they go to 3-5, look for Cooper Kupp trade rumors to get back hot before the deadline on Tuesday. Got one from Handy, says, trade for Slayton now. I think the Steelers are going to be patient, Handy. I like Slayton too. If they traded for Darius Slayton right now, I'd be perfectly fine with that. I think he's a great fit. He can get down the field very efficiently. He's very fast for his size, and he separates down the field. What do the Steelers like to do? They like to throw the ball down the field. I think Slayton would be a perfect complement to George Pickens on the other side at the Z. And I think that he would be a great fit for the Steelers offense as a whole. So I'd probably offer a 5th-round pick for him, conditional 5th, something like that. I think the Steelers are going to be a little bit more patient to see if Cooper Kupp becomes available before the deadline. But if Cooper Kupp, Cortland Sutton, DK Metcalf, all the big names, the true number 1 guys are gone, I think Darius Slayton is probably first on their list in terms of the guys they'd give up a round 5 pick for. So shout out your guy down there in the comments section. Name a wide receiver the Steelers should trade for down there in the comments section. In just a second here, I'm going to talk about our sponsor today at Prize Picks. And while I talk about Prize Picks, find that pinned comment at the top of the comments section and answer today's pinned question. And with that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Prize Picks, which is the best place to get real money sports action. Join over 10 million users and sign up today. Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can even double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. And also, Prize Picks now offers Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your account this sports season. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday, or each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, guys, like the $50 bonus is guaranteed. You don't even have to win that promotion or win that projection. That's $50 instantly when you use code CLNS after playing your first $5 lineup on the Prize Picks app today. Coming in from my man Kevin Reed says, do y'all think Calvin Austin III will have another return touchdown this season? And if so, how many? I like to think that he will. 1 or 2 is probably the number I'd put on it, Kevin. He has 1 through 8 games. I'd say probably I'd hope for at least 1 more with his dynamic ability to return kicks. But, it'd be nice to see 2 or maybe even 3 for the rest of the season if we're counting postseason as well. So he's an impact player. Get the ball to him in space, on offense, on special teams, whatever the case may be, because he's going to get open and he is very, very dangerous with the ball in his hands. Coming from my man Christian Andujar, who says the Commanders are frauds, Jack. They haven't played anyone good this year, but got manhandled by one of the good teams, a.k.a. Ravens. This game will be a test for the Commanders, not the Steelers. So I think it's going to be a test for both teams. I think it's going to be a test for the Steelers' defense a little bit, because it's like, they've faced some bad offenses lately. Let's face it, okay? Denver, Las Vegas, both New York teams, their offenses freaking stink. The Commanders have a top 3 offense in the league. So for anybody, that's still doubting the Steelers defense, I don't know who's still doubting this defense, but if you are, this is going to be the game. Or if they can stop Jaden Daniels and they can really stymie that group, that's going to be the one where it's like, all right, this Steelers defense is truly, truly great this season. Then I think it's going to be a test for the Commanders offense going up against the Steelers defense as well. If the Steelers offense, I honestly think the Commanders defense is the worst defense Russell Wilson has faced so far this year. So if the Steelers can once again put up over 30 points with Russ under center, I think that the Steelers could absolutely win that game. Got one from Kenneth Leonard Sr. coming in here, says, did the Steelers make roster moves this week? They just released Dylan Cook at the time of me filming this video. This video is going to go out later in the week. I'm filming this on Thursday, but they just released Dylan Cook when, Broderick Jones isn't playing all that well. What that points to for me is that they feel pretty good about Max Sharping and Spencer Anderson as kind of the backup swing tackle options on this team, and Calvin Anderson as well. I don't know, man. I like Dylan Cook. I don't know if I agree with that move. But that's pretty much what they've done this week. They also brought back Denny J here, the edge rusher is the person that they brought back on the practice squad. Kermit is my guy. Kermit, I hope you like your new sticker. Says, what position do we think we are taking in the first round? Draft a QB to sit behind Russ for a couple years. Not in the first round, I don't think, Kermit, because I think the Steelers, with their current trajectory, my best guess is that they're going to sign Russ to another contract, and they might even sign Fields to another contract if he can't find a starting position or at least a chance to start elsewhere. I think in the first round it's going to be offensive tackle. I hate to say it, but that's going to be another conversation we have. With Broderick playing as poorly as he is, wide receiver is going to be a discussion. There's other positions as well that we can talk about, but those are the first two that come to mind. If you're excited about the Pittsburgh Steelers this year, make sure you click that thumbs up icon and like today's show. We're super excited about the Steelers. I think they're a top 5 team in the National Football League as we sit here today. If you agree with that, or if you're just excited about this team in general for the first time in a while, it seems like, especially on offense, make sure you click that thumbs up icon right now and support the show. Going from Zachary Showers says, what are the chances we can get Garrett Wilson, Cooper Kupp, or Courtland Sutton? I would say the chances for Courtland Sutton and Garrett Wilson are relatively low, especially Wilson. They spent a very high draft pick on Garrett Wilson, and they want, even if they are going to be embracing a rebuild in the near future, Garrett Wilson is still a very young, very talented piece that they're going to want in their building. I think there's close to a 0% chance they trade Garrett Wilson before the deadline. Courtland Sutton, I'd put it at less than 5%. Because they're 5-3 right now, man. The Broncos are playing pretty good football, all right? So, taking away Bo Nix's number one target right now is just not a really good idea. So I don't think Courtland Sutton. And then Cooper Kupp, watch out for the Rams game this weekend. If they lose against the Seahawks, they're sitting at 3-5, and I think they open up trade conversations again. However, if they win this weekend, I think that Cooper Kupp is probably going to stay in LA. So let me know down there in the comments section. Predict the Steelers' final record for me down there in the comments section. For me personally, I think this team can get anywhere between 11 to 13 wins. It's just where I'm at right now. Pretty darn good, but let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Appreciate your guys' support. Thanks to everybody that submitted questions this week. Thanks for making it to the end of today's mailbag. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. And until next time, here we go, Steelers. All right, so tonight's matchup, Coop, Thursday Night Football.
Yes.
In the Meadowlands. It is the Houston Texans going up against the Jets. Now, here's the thing about the Texans, Coop, that's a little bit interesting. They've allowed a lot of inferior teams to stick around with them
absolutely
all year long. All right, I'm talking about the Colts twice. I mean, at one point, I think Anthony Richardson was like 2 for 16 or something. And they still only won by 8 points against that team, right? The offensive line is bad in Houston. I don't even think I did not list Houston in my top 10 NFL teams this year or this week, even though they're 6-2.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's right to call them frauds, but I don't think they're as good as their record says they are.
Yeah, and they're definitely not as good as I expected them to be heading into the year. Like people are like, oh, they added Stephon Diggs, they added Danielle Hunter, all these things. Plus, Diggs is out for the season now, so it's like.
You know what makes me even more confident that the Texans are going to win this game, though?
What's that?
Tyler Smith put a heavy bet on the New York Jets.
Oh, Steelers Smitty. So the Jets aren't any better though. You know what I'm saying? Like they are a complete downward spiral.
Allen Lazard goes on IR,
and the Texans defense is actually really good. So I'm gonna go. I think that the Texans will probably F around a little bit here, and they'll let the Jets stick around. I have a 1-score game, but I have 24-17.
Yeah, I like that. I'm not sure it's gonna be as close. I don't know if it's a 1-score game. I think I'm going to go – I haven't really thought much about this game, to be honest. I think I'm going to go like 23-13. I know that's that's
not
a
bad.
Field goal more, but I just think this Texans defense is pretty good, and I don't trust Aaron Rodgers right now as far as I can throw him. I think he's pretty washed, man. It's time for him to hang it up.
Yeah, I think here's the thing with Rodgers. He requires a high level of trust and chemistry with the receivers that he plays with. So the first year in his offense, whatever you guys want to call it, it's not going to be good. All right? It's just not, especially, when you have terrible play calling with Nathaniel Hackett and Todd Downing. Okay? Which sounds suspiciously close to Tom Downey, if you ask me. But then the defense this year isn't as good as it has been in years past. Sauce Gardner, I don't know what happened to him. He's still good, but he's not as good as he was in his rookie season. That's for damn sure.
That was supposed to be Rob Saleh's calling card was the defense, and
it's still okay.
It's still all right, but it's not as good as it was.
Yeah, they're second in yards per play allowed, so the efficiency is actually okay this year. What they're doing, they're keeping teams in front of them. But
somehow it's Nathaniel Hackett's fault. I don't know how, but it has to be.
Yeah, but this just has a Houston Texans, one score, let an inferior opponent stick around, especially because the Jets are home tonight. That's where I'm at. Let me know where you guys are at down there in the comments section. And unless somebody super chats here in the next minute, we're going to say goodbye for the day.
Come join me tonight. I'll be live on our Mavericks channel doing Mavs vs. Rockets if you want to come hang out.
Yeah, if you guys don't want to watch this shitty football game tonight, you guys can watch the Mavs with Coop if you want. I know Jeremy is going to be in his sumo suit for the for the Texans game, so if you want to go hang out on Texans today, go ahead and do that. But I think that we're going to wrap it up for the day, Coop. It's been fun. Some good segments that we got to today, but it's going to be a good time here. No game this weekend, so no watch party. And then next week we got the Commanders. It's Commanders week. I think it's going to be a nice test. I actually think the Steelers win against the Commanders.
I do too. I think they'll beat the Commanders.
Because the Commanders defense, it's okay. And last 2 weeks, they've been better.
It's better than I thought it'd be to start the year.
Yeah, I think they're a top 10 scoring defense right now. But you look at the situational stuff, they're not that good. They give up a lot of yards per play. I think that the Steelers offense gets over 30 points in that game. And then, Jaden Daniels and that offense there in Washington can certainly put up 30. But against the Steelers defense, I would say probably not. I think they probably get into somewhere around the low to mid-20s is where the Commanders will end up in terms of points.
You think they'll be held to the low 20s? That offense is so good, man. I know Steelers defense is really good. I don't know what to think about a score prediction in that one.
Like Joey Porter Jr. is going to shut down Terry McLaurin.
Yeah.
But the big thing with Washington is their run game. That's the thing that doesn't get talked about. People talk about Jaden Daniels, but they have the second best running offense in the league, only behind the Ravens. And the Steelers do usually a really good job limiting the run. So obviously playing a guy like Jaden Daniels changes the algebra there a little bit, the calculus. But I don't expect. And then when you also inject that Mike Tomlin is 12-4 off a bye in his career or something like that. That's another thing in the Steelers, another feather in the Steelers' cap, if you will.
He's 12-4 off the bye?
Yeah.
That's actually
it's either that or 12-5. I can't remember. But yeah, he's been phenomenal off a bye. I think the Commanders are young and experienced. I think that Jaden Daniels hasn't seen a defense like this Steelers pass rush yet.
That's true.
Also, a key matchup I'm probably going to be watching out for, the right tackle in Washington is Andrew Wiley.
He blows.
He stinks.
He blows.
And he's going to be going up against TJ Watt. What is going on?
I don't know if he can make it on screen.
Can you even get up here? Jeremy Chuggs coming in. You want the towel?
Arigato.
Segura! Jeremy, how did you even get to this thing, man? I mean, you have a machine? He just walks in here with this thing. It's rubbing the nips. Everybody spam Chuggs in the chat. Jeremy, you're going live tonight? Hey, you excited for tonight's game? What's your score prediction?
I'm pumped. Give me Texans 27, Jets 21.
Oh,
I like it.
Sperry
Okay.
said 24-17 Texans. I said 23-13 Texans.
Yeah, I think my computer. No, never mind. So the reason why I gave Jeremy is because the Texans are letting kind of these shitty teams stick around for all 4 quarters, but they end up winning.
Free.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's going to happen tonight.
Hey, who's coming over?
Yeah, hey, spam me in the chat if you're going to watch the Texans. What is it, Texans today? Texans today. Let us know. We got Guillermo in here. We got 6 Rings, Kevin Reed, Sheldon, Kirk Crater.
He got 15 years probation.
He says, looks like a toasted Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yes,
He's golden brown. Look at the hairpiece, too. That's what I love the hairpiece here with the... Huh! I love it. Okay, guys, that's going to be it for today's show. Jeremy, do you want to give a little Here We Go Steelers?
Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.
Oh.
Here we go, Steelers.
Here we go, Steelers.
What's up, Wilson?
All right,
We're going to have to get out of here.
That's before this thing gets out of hand. Titus Kitchens with a $2 super chat.
We'll see you guys soon.
We'll see you guys later. Watch Texans today. Watch Mavericks now. Appreciate. Oh, it's Mavericks today. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Till then, here we go, Steelers.